Good morning, guys. Good morning. I can't find none of my camera mounts. I got two of them. I have no idea where they're at. So right now, my phone is inside where my speedometer is. But so you guys gonna have to bear with me a little bit. Steering wheel is gonna be passing your way a little bit. But turn this heat on. It's a little chilly this morning, but it's cold. But it was something important that I had to talk about. So what I wanted to talk about today is knowing yourself. Knowing yourself and knowing your self-worth. Knowing your value. You know what I mean? Loving yourself. Cherishing yourself. You know, for better or for worse. Because that's the stuff that people look for when they're getting married. But I tell people you can't expect somebody to love and cherish you when you don't love yourself. You know, first and foremost, anybody that's from the Caribbean, from Jamaica, or I can speak from Jamaica, will understand where I'm coming from. But if you live here abroad, you have a condition for everything. And I understand that everything is not black and white, and some people don't have condition. But I mean, you can have a condition for anything. Like, I mean, you could do the most heinous of crimes, and there's a condition. You have a condition. For me personally, throughout my journey in life, I've realized that the best way to deal with any issue that may occur in my life is to face it head on. I mean, to face it head on, acknowledge that there is the issue, and deal with it. Some of it operates. Oops, sorry, y'all. See what I'm saying? Sorry about that. No mount. Some of the issues, it gets solved slower than others. Some of them don't. But some of them get resolved fast. But at the end of the day, I try to jump on things before it manifests into something bigger or out of my control. I've accepted who I am. I've accepted who I am. I don't like necessarily everything about myself. Like, for the simple fact that the reason why I went to Connecticut was because I had to help out a teenager. He was getting into he was getting stomped. He was getting beat. They down Mondawmin Mall. It was about 30 of them. Was stomping the daylights out of him. And I was at work. I couldn't ignore it. Like, everything in my muscle is saying, everything in my body is saying, ignore them. Like, they put themselves in that situation, but I had to go over there and try to intervene as best as I could. Luckily, he didn't walk away with any brain injuries. He just had to go to rehab or whatever it is. But his family, being African, their show of gratitude was to invite me to Thanksgiving dinner to tell me thank you, because they could have easily lost their son, their grandson, and I mean, majority of the people in Mondawmin, I mean, they don't have anybody that would miss him if they die. But ironically, he has a whole unit of family. He has a humongous family, and it would have been a lot of people hurting behind it. I don't necessarily like who I am, but that's who I am. I'm the oldest of all my siblings, and I'm just protective. I'm very light sleeper because it seems like I'm always on guard, and I don't necessarily like it. What I do like about myself is I'm blunt. If you can ask my son's mom, you can ask my girlfriend, you can ask anybody that's around me, I'm blunt. I don't try to sugarcoat anything. Like, I hear somebody say, President-elect Trump. And I'm like, no, he's the president. He's the president. Don't sugarcoat, don't nice it up. He is the president. Respect that. The man, he earned it. So, you know, for every little thing is you nice up the words and you sugarcoat it, and no. It is what it is. Don't try to see things for what you want it to be. See things for what it is. That's how I look at things. That's my philosophy. But the purpose of me making this video, and I know it's not the highest quality, I gotta find my camera mount. Somebody hit it. I don't know who it is. Let me see if I cut this light on, if it'll be a little better. But the purpose of me making this video is like this morning I woke up and I had the biggest headache in the world. If you would have caught me 10 years ago, I would have been so frustrated. I would have went to work mad. I would have pissed everybody else off and all that because I don't know what's going on with myself. But I went out bike riding last night. I came in, I had some turkey neck with a little ham in it, and then I ate ice cream after, and I drank some ting, which sound good and all, but the problem with that was I didn't drink any water. And so when I fell asleep, I fell asleep and I woke up and I was dehydrated. Taking the time out to understand what's going on within me. I was not frustrated. I got up, drank a bottle of water, sat there for about a half an hour, and it went away. And it wasn't by choice, but you know, having my son working the night shift, being with him all day, I had time to really acknowledge who I was as an individual. What makes me happy, what makes me sad, what triggers my anger, what understanding that, you know, everything you shouldn't, you know, you don't have to jump on everything. I mean, some things you just gotta let be and let God take care of it, and certain things you got to jump on it because God helped those who help themselves. So yeah, you know, I tell people, I say, yeah, you out here, you looking for a mate, you know, you want to be happy, you want to be in a relationship with somebody, but you yourself don't even know who you want or who you are, what's gonna make you happy. So, you know, a lot of people spend their whole lifetime, their whole entire lifetime going through so much just to find a proper mate. Don't get me wrong, we got a lot of us got a lot of issues we deal with from childhood, and we carry over into our adulthood. You know, whether it's bullying, and don't believe that when you become a grown-up, bullying stops. It still exists. It still exists. All that stuff from your childhood, it carries over, and we still carry those fears sometimes. And you know, if we don't work on the issues that we do have, you can't move forward, because every time you start making progress, a situation might occur and you get knocked back 2 or 3 steps back. So I mean, at the end of the day, you got to try to figure out who you are as an individual before you can try to pawn yourself off to somebody else, and you don't even know who you are. You don't know what makes you happy. I mean, for me, simply riding my bicycle makes me happy. Because my whole concept is for the most part, it makes me happy, but I don't get too attached to it. Most of the time, I go to the store, I walk. People are like, why you have 3 cars, you can walk? I don't want to get too attached to anything that's man-made, because at any time, it could be taken like that. And my legs or whatever could be taken, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to rely on myself, because I can spend a whole entire day with nobody around, and I'm still happy and content. And I love being in a relationship. You know, sometimes it's not always glitz and glamour, but it's good to come home and have somebody ask you how your day is. You know, if you want some tea, you know, rub your feet, or, you know, run the water for you. And it's somebody that you can take care of. Somebody, you know, you can say, hey, you know, make sure before you leave the house you get, I don't know. That's just how I am. And these are my opinion. I'm not any doctor or anything like that. But like I said, you know, involuntarily, when I had my son, I had a lot of time to really figure out who I was, because I didn't want my son to see a volatile father or be in a volatile household or none of that stuff. So I had to figure out who I was, and I had to take time. I had to figure out, with the bumps in the back of my head, in order for me to get rid of them, it wasn't just go to the doctor and get the drops for it. I had to change my diet. I had to start going to the dentist, because what I was realizing was, even if I got it treated, it would still come back, because I wasn't taking care of my dental hygiene the way I was supposed to, and I wasn't flossing, I wasn't brushing, I wasn't doing the things I was supposed to. And what happened was, food would get beyond my teeth down into my gum, and it would decay and release bacteria into my bloodstream, and the bacteria was destroying my body from the inside out. So I realized I had to change my diet. I had to change a lot of things. But like I said, for me, I don't sugarcoat anything. It is what it is. I see things for what it is, and not for what I want it to be or what it could become, whatever it is. If it does, yes. If it doesn't, oh well. You know, my son mom, she gets mad at me because I don't approve of a lot of stuff she does, and I'm looking at her like, hell with me. Hell with what? I think just do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't look for anybody's approval. My girlfriend, she gets mad at me because I get on her nerve. Because at the end of the day, like I tell her, I don't want you to just be going through the motions of doing what you're doing because you're supposed to do it. I want you to be doing it because it just naturally comes out. But it's going to be very hard because you're still trying to figure out who you are. So, and you trying to figure out what makes you happy, and you know, and love and all that stuff. So I tell her, I say, you first have to really love and cherish and protect and honor yourself before you can expect somebody to give that in return. I'm not perfect. I got my issues, man. I know I talk too damn much sometimes. You know what I mean? I know I jump to conclusions too quick sometimes. But the thing is, if I make a mistake, I can man up and own up to it. I man up. All the time. It ain't always the best time to take responsibility and all that stuff. It isn't. Because honesty really isn't always the best policy. Sometimes people just don't want to hear honesty. But for the most part, if it's something that's going to ride my conscience, I'm going to try to get it off my chest. I was blaming my girlfriend that she took all the little spoons and I couldn't find any. And guess what? Lo and behold, I was in my truck digging for my camera mount, and I found one of the dishes that I had left with my little spoon, and I had to call her and let her know, hey, you remember where I was blaming you and saying you took all the stuff? Well, I found it. Why? I didn't have to say anything. But at the end of the day, my conscience is clear, and I'm man enough to admit, hey, I made a mistake. But I've realized what I can take, what I can't take, what I can tolerate with, what I can't tolerate with. You know, you have to find out if you're buying a house. Why are you buying a house? Me, I was buying a house because I miss the feel of cutting grass. I miss the feel of being outside and being free. I didn't grow up in an apartment complex. I didn't want to be in an apartment complex forever. You know, I had to figure out having my vehicles. Why did I? Because I recently I was telling my girlfriend I was gonna sell all my vehicles and just keep my truck and ride around. But I had to sit down and have a one-on-one with myself and figure out why I like my wagon. You know, this was when I went to go buy my wagon at the auction. I hated this car, and my dad was like, hey, you know, because I wanted an Integra, two-door Integra and all that. My dad was he straight G'd me up. And sometimes he pissed me off with that stuff, but in this case, he was right. And, you know, he was like, if you buy that Integra, I don't know how you going to get it back to Baltimore. And we was in D.C. Ended up buying a wagon. Me and my dad, we worked on it. When I bought this car, it was sitting up high as I don't know what. The paint was falling off. Nothing worked. The radio didn't work right. It had no clutch. It was so much work, and I took my time, and it really showed me that if you applied yourself to something, you know, you can get it to where you want it to be. But it wasn't where it was, and I kept it real honest with myself. You know, I'm not looking for ready done. I'm not looking for something, you know, somebody to do, put in that work, and I try to snatch it or whatever. I try to put in the hard work. I try to be honest with myself. And I really took years. I mean, years on top of years. I'm 31 now. And I had my son, and I didn't know who I was. I was lost, you know. And I realized like I was gonna be unhappy for the rest of my life because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know, and how can I achieve complete full happiness from somebody if I don't know what kind of relationship I want to be in. But like I said, the video